Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. TGIF, baby. Thank God it's Friday. I obviously have to. Well, from the report I heard that she's not feeling okay. So she's resting up and taking care of herself. As she should be here by next week. I believe that she'll be strong, fine and healthy to come on this program and be the queen bee that she is. My name is Esther Wachiku, and obviously in the evening rush we look at topical issues across Nigeria's social-political landscape, issues that actually set quite the tone, across board. And obviously when we read out some of these stories, or rather highlight it, we basically highlight it to actually give ourselves that intellectual insight used. So the EFCC is coming at play. They're compiling his case, but there are complaints as to why the EFCC had to announce it when the man is not in the country. So this man can decide to stay outside the country, announce it when the man is not in the country. So this man can decide to stay outside the country for as long as, can never tell what the gimmick is or the semantic is. But hey, it's a very different issue in his regard. But we're not focusing on that particular information. What we want to look into is the fact that, interestingly, the president is very happy, all right, for the governors on their support on the tax reform bill. President Bola Tinubu has expressed his appreciation, all right, for the Nigerian Governors Forum following the unanimous endorsement of the 4 tax reform bills currently under consideration by the National Assembly. Our president made this known in a statement very recently by his special advisor on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga. The president lauded the governors for their bold leadership and commitment to fostering unity among leaders nationwide, transcending regional, ethnic, and political barriers to advance Nigeria's development. So obviously the president is actually happy with the governors. Now, something interesting too that took place, all right, today is the fact that the Edo State Caretaker Committee chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Dr. Anthony Azegbemi, today recounted how he was bundled out of the party's secretariat by the All Progressives Congress. He alleged that the APC officials were backed by police officers from the state government house. Azegbemi disclosed this at a press briefing titled "Criminal Trespass, Breaking and Entering, Stealing and Malicious Damage in Benin City." Azegbemi alleged that the APC has continued its brigandage, illegality, violence and assault on democracy, and he warned that the development could lead to a breakdown of law and order, leading to anarchy and chaos in the state. He actually disclosed that they used several Hilux vans and other vehicles led by Jared Tenebe, who deployed their thugs backed by police officers from the government house to sack the People's Democratic Party from its secretariat on Airport Road, Benin City, the Edo State capital. See, I don't want what is currently ongoing right now in Rivers State to transcend to Edo State. The tribunal was already on in Edo State at the moment. So obviously there is, supposed things are getting, there's a form of normalcy since the court gave its ruling affirming the fact that the pro-Wike chairpersons there are no longer valid, and more of the Fubara persons and Fubara and his committee are actually the authentic persons in there. So the River State has a bit of normalcy, a bit of, let's say, smooth flowing governance. Things are actually beginning to take shape despite all of the issues or imbroglio between Fubara and Nyesom Wike. So, but in the case of Edo State now, from the first day that the tribunal commenced, we've seen one drama or the other. Apparently, the EFCC eventually disclosed that the star witness presented by the People's Democratic Party concerning the electoral fraudulent activities that took place being alleged by the PDP is also under investigation. They say he is involved in some fraudulent activities. So I don't know how this particular situation contends or how the star witness is viable, and everybody is now saying this is a tactic to delay the tribunal proceeding from ongoing. But obviously today the evidence presented, that is the document, the tribunal admitted PDP's documentary evidence in the ongoing post-election case, and I would say that it's a good thing in that particular process, and we can see that for now, let's just hope that things continue smoothly and we don't hear any dramatic event ever again until this tribunal is over. We don't hear thugs came and took evidence from the justices or wherever it is they keep evidence. We don't hear fire burn or something like that. So let's just hope that the tribunal does what it's supposed to do and Benin City is safe and calm for now. Now, apparently for Peter Obi, the former governor of Anambra State, the 2023 presidential candidate of the Labour Party. He has continued his tour of medical institutions across Nigeria, this time visiting the College of Nursing Sciences in Amichi, Anambra State. Will be interacted with the management, staff and students, commending their hard work and dedication to healthcare education. He reflected on his earlier efforts to revive the diocesan hospital. Obi shared his role in discussions that led to establishment of the School of Nursing, which has now grown into the College of Nursing and Sciences. So Obi continues with, obviously, his philanthropic role, his philanthropic activities, despite supposed criticisms coming from the opposition quarter. As you all know, defection by certain bigwigs in the Labour Party. Well, the Labour Party has come out to actually say, no, that is not the truth. We're not actually, there's nobody leaving. Alex Oti is not leaving, and we're continuing with our activities despite the appeal court actually confirming and affirming Julius Abure as the chairman of the Labour Party. Now, in a very recent development, which I would consider to be a little bit unfortunate, but a couple of persons will say is a progressive aspect of things happening, as Nigerians have been calling for security in the north, in the south, in the east, as well as in the southwest. So today, 24 hours to the launching of Operation Udogachi. Udogachi in Igbo means peace must reign. It's a special security outfit. About 8 suspected gunmen were neutralized along Ufuma, Ubunka communities in Urumba, North and South local government areas of Anambra State. You remember that Chukwuma Soludo had, in a briefing to reporters, presented a total of 163 security trucks to the fight against insecurity in the state. A development, according to him, would apply kinetic and non-kinetic approach to the battle. Confirming, Soludo had announced that a situation room had been established to monitor activities of criminals and miscreants in the 21 local government areas of the state, to monitor activities of criminals in the 179 communities of the state. You know that Anambra lately has been a hotbed of insecurity. Some say that this mayhem is perpetrated by opposition, possibly because of the elections about to take place in Anambra State. We saw the gruesome killing, kidnapping ongoing. They say is a political, masterpiece of certain persons. Make the state seem ungovernable for the people to lose the trust of Chukwuma Soludo. A couple of people feel that Chukwuma Soludo does not have the capacity to continue as the Anambra State governor because of the prevailing insecurity in that axis. Others have now asked questions that what are the Southeast governors doing about it? Anyways, most of the Southeast states are bedeviled with insecurity, while some of them are actually doing okay, like Abia State, Enugu State, as well as Ebonyi State. But you know, the hotbed of violence and insecurity is Anambra and Imo State. So they are calling for a convergence of the Southeast governors to come together and see how they can work well to ensure that the insecurity there is abated and economic development can begin to take place in that particular region. It has discouraged investors from wanting to go there to carry on with whatever investment and developmental activities they have in mind. It has also isolated the Southeast in terms of trust by prospective investors, you know, in certain businesses, and even businesses that were thriving there before have closed down because nobody is patronizing because of the insecurity. They have actually packed up and taken their businesses to other areas. Some people also say that the way the media reports the insecurity in the South, it is not as bad as it is. That is actually calm and cool and things are actually okay there. But whichever the case is, there are calls that there should be a form of immediacy in ensuring that the security situation in the Southeast is actually taken care of as soon as possible. All right. Another hot topic today is concerning the Obako Ikwere Cultural Organization Worldwide. It's an apex decision-making body of the Ikwere ethnic nationality in Rivers State. They have announced the withdrawal of all honors, recognitions, and titles previously bestowed on Senator John Azuta-mbata, the newly elected President General of Ohaneze Igbo Worldwide. The group also barred Senator Azuta-mbata, who represented Rivers East Senatorial District from 1999 to 2007, from participating in activities in Ikwere land, including community meetings and political representation. The decision also extends to his hometown, Eneka community in Apara Kingdom. The Ikwere leadership accused Azuta-mbata of committing sacrilege against Ikwere land by accepting the leadership of Ohaneze in Igbo, a social cultural organization representing the Igbo people. In their view, his decision signifies a renunciation of his Ikwere identity, rendering him a total stranger in the community. In a statement jointly signed by President General of Obako Ikwere Cultural Organization Worldwide, Eze Barrister Godspa Onoekwa, and Secretary General Barrister Inyebuchi Phillips, the group expressed strong disapproval of Azuta-mbata's action. Ever since Azuta-mbata emerged as the president of Ohaneze Igbo General Worldwide, obviously he's from Ikwere. You know that some persons in that axis say that they do not identify as Igbos. They do not identify as Igbo group. And because of the fact that this man accepted that confirmation as the President General of Ohaneze Igbo, he's been stripped off of his traditional rights. He's been stripped off of his titles and any honor that has been bestowed at because there were endemic issues of hunger in the land. No job opportunities for young persons. School has resumed and some parents have not been able to pay their school fees. Some students have resumed, they've not paid, but they are still going to school. Some parents are paying installmentally. There's quite a lot actually happening. Insecurity on the rise, and certain persons are deciding to either identify as Igbos or strip somebody of their title and all whatnot just because he identify as an Igbo person. So what do all this alienation mean? Meanwhile, there are certain persons going about the fact that they will support Seyi Tinubu if indeed he comes out to campaign as a governor of Lagos State. Apparently, very dark man, Martins Ose, as he's well known, actually said that he is willing to campaign Seyi Tinubu if he decides to contest the governorship race in Lagos. In fact, Ose also referred to as VDM stated that Seyi's purported governorship ambition is gaining momentum as those backing the campaign are still testing the waters. He also advocates for the active participation of Nigerian youth in politics, cautioned that while he typically distances himself from the political sphere, he would defy his stance for Seyi. He says, if Seyi Tinubu decides to run for governorship, I will campaign for him. Though I don't involve myself in politics, I will do it because of him. And that based on his calculation, Seyi Tinubu is a bridge to achieving something he believes will make Nigeria work. He says, I have been studying Seyi Tinubu's pattern. He seems to have his father's political mentality. However, he noted that the president's son might face challenges in his unconfirmed interest in becoming governor due to older politicians who may feel threatened. The big question now is, people are now wondering that, obviously, with this declaration by Very Dark Man that he is working for the APC government, for him to have openly come out to actually show his support and solidarity to Seyi Tinubu. Well, let's try and call Mr. Elvis Elimihele to give us his own perspective. Let us actually have this discourse. Let's have this conversation on the topical issues on the evening rush. Today, these are the hot topic rather going to be talking about on the evening rush this evening. Mr. Elvis Elimihele, good evening and thank God it's Friday. Thank you for joining us today.
Good evening, Esther. How are you doing?
How are you? Mr. Elvis, can you hear me? Yes, Happy New Year. Obviously, we've congratulated ourselves. How are you? Can you hear me, Mr. Elvis?
I can hear you very well. I can hear you.
All right, I wasn't hearing you. Weren't responding. Mr. Elvis Elimihele, let's start off with the situation of Ohaneze in Igbo. It's quite a trying moment at this point in time if we look at what is happening. That was basically the last story I just read. So, Ohaneze Igbo General, that is President General Azuta-mbata, apparently Rivers Group stripped him of his traditional title, his honors, his rights. They say he has committed sacrilege. In fact, they barred Senator Azuta-mbata, all right, from being recognized as an Ikwere man. In fact, they barred him from attending community meetings. They barred him from politically representing them, because of his decision to accept the title of Ohaneze Igbo President General Worldwide. In fact, it also extends to his hometown, Eneka community in Apara Kingdom. which brings us to the fulcrum of the conversation of identification, specifically of the Igbos in certain regions. Some persons will say, oh, this region does not belong to Igbo people. Ijo has come out to say that they should not join them as Igbos. Niger Delta has come to warn the Biafrans that they should not also conscribe them as Biafrans or Igbos. We've heard Asari Dokubo speak on several occasions. Now, this man is from Ekpeye, which is obviously in Rivers, and a couple of Southeasterners were actually happy that this guy officially have been integrated into the system. But now, as it turns out, the community has stripped him off. They've now seen him as, how we call it in the village, as an Osu, for accepting that title and having to identify as an Igbo, because they do not identify as Igbo. How do you think this will actually cause a clog in his journey as he's just beginning this particular aspect of taking over the leadership of Ohaneze and Igbo worldwide?
It sounds very fun because, some time ago, late last year, we saw a list of states by one of the person that listed the states where that are for IPOP and mentioned state in the the southeast to be part of IPOP state. Remember, we discussed. And when I saw Azuta-mbata being made Ohaneze and Igbo President General, first of all, I was taken aback because I don't know an Ekpeye man will actually become the President General of Ohaneze and Igbo.
Okay.
But when I probed for that, some people told me that there are Igbo speaking persons in Rivers State. I say yes, I've heard names like Amici, the former governor, that's an Igbo name and all that. But I don't know how grave for them to, take up that exotic position as the President General of Ohaneze and Igbo. So I don't know, those people who designed to bring in a to become the head of Ohaneze and Igbo, whether they have a different concerning the geographical of Biafra, is less for us to actually, unveil later. Me, I would have believed that it always is analytic within River State. But because people are then to now be to head that position of Ohaneze and Igbo, I really don't understand it. But coming to the issue that his people have suspended him and called the position he has taken up as sacrilege, I think his people are looking like they are kind of angry that it's like he's selling their birthright to a tribe which they really did not identify so much with. I think they prefer to be called an Ekpeye people than to be called Igbo. I think that's where this one is coming from. And when they use that word sacrilege, which means they are like he has committed a taboo against the land. So I also again see that part of what played out during the election, where we have a faction, one in the River State and the other one in Enugu, is still brewing. We are still going to see more of this. Because a situation where the ethnic are supposed to be proud of their son being given such an exotic position, such apex position among the southeastern states, they are now the one that are saying, no, he has committed sacrilege. There's a big question there to answer. There's a big question there.
Mr. Evos, because I remember, like you said, it was IAU. We had this conversation on this platform. I don't know if it was a political spotlight or one of the news that we actually had that conversation here. So, do you think this would destabilize Ohaneze and Igbo? What do you think should happen? Because if this man has been banned from attending political meetings within his community, then what does that mean? Because he decided to be identified as an Igbo, his community decided to term him an Usu and an outcast. I mean, is it that bad to be identified as an Igbo? What exactly is the problem? I need to understand, because that axis, that region, there's certain persons that say, I decide that I'm an Igbo. Another as a region out there, or some communities will say, no, we're not Igbos, we're Ekperes, we're Ijo, we don't align with, we're not Biafra. Why is this development consistent there?
Esther, the Ikwere people are seeing it as an affront that one of their sons is selling their birthright to another ethnic in this nation, which they, over the years, I don't think they have so much identified with them as an Igbo person. So now, I don't even know how the formula came up that the next President General of Ohaneze people is going to come from the Igbo speaking rivers. I don't even know the correlation, the cohesion, and the bond that have ever existed between them to lead to this highest position among the Igbo, to be given to somebody who has been bearing a different ethnic group over the years. If probably you go and look at all the form this man has filled, he would have been feeling Ikwere man, and all that. Even when he represented his people in the Senate, he never said the state in the Southeast. He represented his Ikwere people in the Senate, the Bar State. So I don't know why they are designing Nigeria and now bring rivers in the Southeast and now bring a river in Ohaneze general. To lead them. I don't know whether there is something, but the people have spoken their mind, angry. They've seen themselves as branded another ethnic group over in their life. So, and the Ikwere man, I have some of them as friends. They have never told me they are Igbos. They've never told me they are Igbos in life.
Okay.
So for them to just come and pick somebody from there and say to head Ohaneze Igbo is questionable. And for that fashion, you said more of this will play out. I'm looking at it that throughout the tenure of Senator Mbata, Ohaneze may not be as formidable as he used to be, and as fearful and as recognized with all the integrity as he used to be. They normally have some conference in the US every year. Yes. So I don't know how a Rivers man will stand in that conference now, leading the Southeasterners, and about the person is from Rivers, and I don't know how the diaspora Igbo will be feeling so comfortable in such conference right here in the US. So the man is like, when they gave me that position, I feel like a bat. The proverbial bat does not belong to bed, and it does not belong to mama. So we don't even know whether he's going to be claiming Rivers with this new position, or he's going to be claiming Southeast.
Looks dicey, right?
People are angry. Yeah,
they don't want. They decommission him from being part of them. You call him an Osu literally by saying that he committed sacrilege. Which area in Ikwere is actually different, or they're not Igbos?
If we are asking this big question, whether it's Ikwere not Igbos, it's the Ikwere people that will give us their history. Because
okay.
I cannot understand.
Is Rotimi Amechi not from Ikwere?
Let's not look at the names.
No, I'm just asking. Rotimi Amechi, the former governor of Rivers State and former transportation minister, was he not is he not from Ikwere?
Well, has he told Nigeria one day that he's an Igbo man?
So you don't know that he has accepted that he's Igbo?
Hello?
You don't know that he has actually put. Some persons feel very strongly that Ikwere is Igbo. Some persons also feel that this is a political gimmick to divide the Igbo, the Igbo Union, that particular Ohaneze in Igbo. It's a way to divide them. When you have a way of infiltrating their community or their organization, and then you cause this kind of identification crisis, and then literally, dissolve the potentiality of that organization in representing the interests of the Southeasterners, either in diaspora or in the country, especially in the political scene. So that's why it's a very important question for us to understand this community that he belongs to. If he identifies as Igbo and this community is saying no, he is not Igbo, we are not Igbo, where does this place the authenticity of him being elected as the President General of Ohaneze in Igbo?
That's the big question we should be asking the politicians, how he came about. Since I have been reading Nigerian history, I've never heard that somebody from Rivers have headed that position.
Okay.
I've never heard. So why did he come up at this time? So I'm going to leave this question for his own and could not prove it to us. I mean, the correlation and the relationship and the brotherhood they shared. So then for the Southeasterners living their own 5 states,
okay,
they could not get anybody there. Then go to a river state that have never been part of, that they are part of the Southeast before now, to go and pick somebody and say it's not going to be the.
But Mr. Elvis, it's something they do rotate. They rotate it. It's the time for those in rivers. That's why I'm wondering why there's an identification crisis here, or why some persons are trying to emancipate this man and make it seem like he has committed an omen for identifying us. That's the thing. If due investigations were not done, he wouldn't have been a potential candidate, all right, to be elected as a representative or president of Ohaneze in Igbo.
Yes, sir. It depends on the investigation. And it depends on the interest they attach to it. That's why we always say the person that will read. It depends on the interest that is going to pull down for others to read. That's why sometimes history is dangerous. It depends on the people who somebody has to river. Do you know their interest? Do you know why they came up with that? So do you know who they want to use it to appeal? We cannot look, we may not have to know. But I'm challenging the historian. Let them prove to Nigerians the relationship between the Southeastern brothers and the Ekpeye people. For the Southeasterners to not pick Ohaneze Igbo from rivers to not lead the whole of the 5 states that were originally Igbo and that owns that title Ohaneze Igbo. Because you cannot tell me that the creation of the Ekpeye inside river is up to a state, it's up to one state in the Southeast. They are not up to. So what I'm motivated with? Well, I think they are very influential, but they have the population. So I don't know what. We are leaving that for historians. We're also leaving it for the elders of both sides, the Ekpeye people and the Southeastern brothers. That debate it and able to why Senator Azuta-mbata became the President General of Igbo, even though he's from River State originally.
All right, it's quite unfortunate because it may seem like that community has an identity crisis. All right, when it has to do with we are Igbos today, we are not Igbos tomorrow. It seems like the identity comes when it is convenient, because I don't understand if that particular region going through the old map, right, was part of the southeastern state, and if Ohaneze Igbo had felt different by saying that Ekpeye or persons, some communities in rivers are not Igbo, I don't think they would have considered anybody from that region to actually contest or be considered, all right, as a president of Ohaneze Igbo. He also wouldn't have been voted. I think it would have even caused some internal wranglings, amongst them as to why.
Celebrating the honor. Now, they are the coolest.
All right.
The people that are rejecting it now. The people that are rejecting it. They are supposed to be celebrating that one of their sons has been picked to go and head a different ethnic which they have never been identified with all their lives. They determine the world that they are Ekpeye. They are not going to go and Ekpeye from rivers. Don't be telling people that they are Igbos from rivers. They be saying Ekpeye from rivers. But now they are not even celebrating the honor the Southeasterners gave to them. They are even now rejecting it and calling their son like a sellout. So that's where the big question comes in, Esther. How was it designed? Who were God that designed it? What interest are these people having on a party? What motive? And what is it going to be? What is going to be the end of this one? So that unity and that love and that cohesion that the Igbo has had over the years under the toga of Ohaneze Igbo as their socio-political leader over the years in this nation. So we're going to look into all this with this new appointment that we just had now.
All right, like that's why I'm actually clarifying, because if we want to look at it in a certain way, for example, let's take us a little bit way back for by Uche Okuku, will I say factional Ohaneze Igbo President General, the one that actually came from Rivers, not the one that was not the victory that came from Enugu State. Now you know that Uche Okuku is a former secretary of Ohaneze Igbo, and so
yes,
on the controversy over the identity of Ekpeye people in Rivers State and whether they belong to the Igbo tribe among other related issues, the question he said is that as an Ekpeye man, all right, He says they have Ogbako Ikwere. That is the Ikwere Development Organization. He says we don't have anything called Iwoha Progressive Organization. So according to him, he was trying to explain certain misconceptions about Ikwere not being Igbo. That's what he was trying to help a lot of persons understand. He said Ikwere land is Igbo land. That's what he said. He made it clearly that is Igbo land. In fact, he said that there are certain issues after the Biafran Civil War, or rather after the Civil War, that made a lot of things change. And then when they were asking questions as to what changed, if Ikwere people are indeed full-blooded Igbos, and he said that either circumstantial or real, what he said is that the Portuguese got to Ikwere land in 1400 after death. People from southern Nigeria by Amori Talbot, that was a book that was written. He said the Portuguese got to Isiokpo, which is the headquarters of Ikwere local government area today. And they got to Amafa, which was the name Emoha was answering. And that they recorded that these people with these names are literally from the southeast. He said Ikwere people claim that they left Benin on Oba Iwari. And Oba Iwari came to power in Benin Kingdom in 1430. That was after the Portuguese had visited Ikwere land in 1400. And that the Oba of Benin wrote a book titled Yes, My Obedient Servant. And in that particular book, they made distinctions. For example, Assistant District Commissioner in Hauda Division in today's Rivers State between 1954 and 1965. These were where the distinctions were made. So he said that Ikwere and the Eche were typical Igbo. He said the Ikwere presented their position through their leaders that from Port Harcourt to Onitsha was Igbo land. And when Henry Willink published his report in April 1958, he made it very clear that the Ikwere were also Igbo. He went to the point of stating in black and white that Port Harcourt was an Igbo town. So again, the question is, where is this identity crisis or dispute coming from, specifically from people from Ikwere?
Esther, it's a very tough history for us to start tracing this evening. If you look at it, even throughout the Civil War, the Biafra were not favored by the river peoples. There was no favor. Most of the properties that the Igbos even left during the Civil War were taken over by rivers after the Civil War. They didn't even see them as brothers that okay, they are now back. They should not, let's forge ahead on that unity. And again, if they actually called themselves the right, they are full-blooded Igbos. Why then? After that redesigning of Nigeria, it was the Civil War that we now. It was during the Civil War we had 12 states that now balkanized Nigeria. Now that we are now having these issues now, whether Ikwere belongs to the Igbo land or it belongs to Rivers. I know the military did that then so that they be able to weaken the stance of the Biafra region and have inroads into it, which they succeeded in. Then we used to call this Cross River, that's Calabar, Far East. During the Civil War, they were part of the Biafra region. So after all this, after the Civil War, how did you see the relationship between the southeastern states and this very ethnic, just one ethnic, the Ikweres inside rivers? How has it been? Has it been flourishing? Have they had it? Has it been so brotherly? Have they had it like, we pay homage or we do things together? But we saw, since the end of the Civil War till now, an Ikwere man will always tell you, I'm an Ikwere person from Rivers. Yes, that's it. Because even at the end of the Civil War, the so-called Ikwere people...
Not for the selfish gains of the politicians. So now, what made the Labour Party come out to clarify?
Testing his popularity with another party. It is Zenith Labour Party. Because at the peak, more than almost all the government, the chairman of local government in Abia State came under the platform of Zenith Labour Party in the local government election that was conducted sometime in November last year. And they all won. So if Alexi can work out his relationship formidably with the chairman of Zenith Labour Party, Chief Dan Iwanyao, I'm seeing him coming up under that party in 2027. Let me tell you, Esther, Nigerians are not really going to be too carried away with voting political parties as this nation is now. Because Nigerians will tell you whether APC or PDP has, disappointed this nation. But Nigerians are going to look at the antecedents and the performance of each of the state governors we have now to put them back for those that will be coming back on second term. So if Alex Otti does so well, and he wants to come on any other political party, he will get it. Especially that political party has already now, with the local government chairman. So I'm saying when the Usman's committee that when all of them that became office is higher to suspect Labour Party failed. You know, there was the committee that was supposed to be headed by Nena Usman.
Yes.
And that meeting took place.
It was actually set up and it was headed by her. Obviously, with the permission of Peter Obi and Alex Otti.
Peter Obi, Alex Otti, and every other like-minded in Labour Party wanted to use that to bring a kind of peace and stability into Labour Party. But when the court now went ahead and said, authentic chairman of Labour Party, you see, that committee died naturally. So since then, I'm telling you, most of the political leaders of a Labour Party who are obedient and so already looking for a way out. They're still looking for a way out. Labour Party, as I'm talking to you, does not have that popularity. June 2023, when Obi came in and took on the flag bearer of that party to contest at the president of Nigeria, they don't have that popularity any longer. And they don't have that support because obedience is marriage. As soon as Obi makes his body language, obvious to the obedience, they are going to switch and swing with him. Obedience will always tell you that they are not members of Labour Party, but they are always loyalists of Peter Obi. So as we speak, Labour Party doesn't have that popularity. They don't have that love any longer because the leadership of Labour Party have actually sold that love out of the mind of Nigerians. And again, even their legislators are not doing well in the House. Their legislators, we were thinking that we are going to be formidable opposition in the National Assembly.
They've been quiet.
But we have also seen their legislators now have become a choristers in the National Assembly. They now sing with APC and PDP and telling Tinubu, on your mandate, we shall stand. So where is Labour Party? So Labour Party's answer is completely, has also taken the same side where the other two political parties have gone. So Nigerians are no longer happy with Labour Party. Like whatever the court is making, pronouncement the court is making, because I saw their big court this today against Julius Abure, the authentic chairman.
Yes.
So he's just carrying that name as the toga of the chairman of Labour Party. But substance, there are no substance any longer. Nigerians have started withdrawing their interest from Labour Party because Labour Party has not made the difference Nigerians expected from them when Nigerians pitched tent with them in 2023 general election.
All right, Mr. Elvis, let's begin to take some reactions right now. We need to hear what a lot of people have to say concerning your analysis. I know we're going to have a lot of back and forth in, will I say, but a couple of persons may actually not agree with your line of thought, but let's hear what they had to say. I'm going to leave you on the phone line, or maybe I'll cut. Okay.
Esther, I gave myself a caveat on that Ekpeye matter.
Okay.
I'm not a historian, but I want the historian to actually prove arguments about them. But what Nigerians should take out of it is that the people who are supposed to they don't want the relationship that the brotherly love they are trying to attend to them. They don't want it. So we need to analyze this further, and we'll pick it up from there.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Elvis Elimehele. It's time for you to begin to call us. Is the number for you to call is 080. Let's pay a number. We'll keep calling it. And this time, you should be able to hear us while you're actually responding to whatever it is you want to contribute to the program. Okay? Good evening. Welcome to the Evening Rush. How are you? Hello.
Hello.
Yes, good evening. How are you? I can hear you. Hello. All right, I already told you the number to call. Call 08036929933. All right, that's the number to call. Hello, good evening. How are you? Where are you? Please call back. That's feedback is not it. You please call back. That's feedback is not it. 08036929933. All right, that is the number. Hello, good evening. Hello. Okay, we're experiencing drop calls. 081. This is the number 08036929933. Hello, good evening. Good evening. 08036929933. That's the number for you to call. All right. Hello, good evening. How are you? Hi. Why are these people calling like this? You're on the road driving, you are calling. Now wow. Which one you did now? Help us. 08036929933. 08036929933. That is the number. Pay attention. Don't call the 0700 number. It's having issues. So call 08036929933. Okay? Hello. Wow. God. When you call, turn down your radio. Be cool. How many times we go tell you? Hello, good evening. How are you? 08036929933. All right, that is the number to call. The WhatsApp number to send you 7175638. That is the WhatsApp number. Okay. Now, hello, good evening. How are you? Hello. All right, we're experiencing drop calls, so call the number I'm calling out now. Don't call the 0700. That number has issues. Hello. Hello. I think most of you are calling the 0700 number. Please pay attention carefully. Call the number 08036929933. Please call the number. All right? That's the number you should call. Hello, good evening. Let me take some WhatsApp messages. I guess we're already having WhatsApp messages. Okay, let's take this. For example, we'll start with this. Wow, lots of messages here. Bonsoir, Esther Wachiko and gentlemen. Please, the only security accepted by Igbos in Southeast are Eastern Security Network. Any other security in Southeast is going to be controlled by the politicians, and they'll be using them against common man in Igbo land. Now, for the Ohaneze Igbo general, yes, Ekpeye are Igbos, Delta are Igbos, Bayelsa have Igbos, and Otukpo in Benue also have Igbos. So if any Okechukwu, Amechi, Wike, Orderly, Osondu, Wachuku, Enyi, Ngozi, etc. from Ekpeye River say he is not Igbo, I'm sorry for those denying themselves. Free Prophet Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. All right, you didn't tell us your name. Evening, Esther Wachiko and your guests. Please, Southwest governors, kudos to your security arrangements in areas. Let Eastern governors learn from Yorubas about security arrangement. Pa Chibo from Ladipo. All right, well done, sir. Thank you. Good evening, Esther. The Ishekiris in Delta State are descendants of the Yorubas. They actually bear Yoruba names, but that doesn't mean the Yorubas will make any one of them the head of Afenifere. Same thing with the Delta Igbos. Doesn't mean the Igbos will make any one of them president of Indigo worldwide. These cases aren't different from the inquiries in Rivers State. Yes, Onwike is also an inquiry man, but not just Amechi. The people have every right to be angry. Calvin from Isola. All right, Calvin. Hello, good evening. How are you?
Hello.
Yes, hello, good evening. How are you?
Hello.
I'm fine. What's your name, please?
Yeah, my name is Alexo.
Alexo, please go ahead.
Yeah, my own is on this sheet. Please, I think we need to stop announcing this. Try to make it loud, because these are the ways these guys they try to bring themselves into the forum.
It's in the news now. These are the top stories. You can't say you can't decide what we should say or what we should not. This is the top stories, and these are the controversial issues here.
But we keep saying it every day, trying to.
There is a recent development now. Somebody is saying they will run for him, and that person represents a certain aspect of the society. So obviously, it's in the news.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, please, sir. Go ahead.
Feedback from your side.
Hello?
Hello?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I'm begging. These are how these politicians, they try to put this into the consciousness of Nigerians. So that when you continue to talk about them, it sticks to the memory and the consciousness of every citizen. And this is not good because, he has the right to contest, but they can't come and impose him on Lagosians. It's not left for the Lagosians to now decide who they want.
All right, thank you.
They have other people who are contesting. Why are they calling only him? Is he the only person in this Lagos state?
The others have not come out to say if they intend to run.
That's what I'm saying. This is narrative they push out. This is what they do. To push it out to the people so that they begin to talk about it everywhere, both in the papers, in the radio, everywhere. It's not. We should stop all this, please.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, good evening, Esther.
Yes, good evening, sir. What's your name, please?
My name is Mr. Bigger.
All right, Mr. Bigger.
Esther, your guest is not qualified to speak about the Mbata Ikwere stuff.
All right, please kindly educate us.
Let me try to educate us.
Yes.
The Ikweres were people from the Igbo-speaking part of this country, who were taken to Port Harcourt to go be sold, go out, and the slavery was abolished, now settled in where you hear today as Ikwere. So that is just the historical fact. Go and investigate it.
All right.
Any person who is saying he's an Ikwere and is not saying he's not an Igbo does not know his history. Having said that, what number of persons are saying they removed the title from that Ikwere people, River State people, had been occupying Ohaneze post. Do you get it? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. All right. That's very beautiful. I love that tutelage. Right. Let's educate ourselves, because this ethnic identity situation from that region, from Ikwere, is called. Hello. Good evening. How are you?
Hello. Good evening.
Yes. Good evening. How are you? Okay. Please call back. The number to call is 080-3692-9933. All right. That's the number to call. Hello. Good evening.
Hello.
Yes. Hello. Good evening. How are you?
Good evening.
Yes, good evening. Can you speak louder, please?
Okay. Good evening.
Good evening. What's your name?
Okay, my name is Abdurrahman.
Abdurrahman.
Yes, I'm calling from Oshodi.
All right, Mr. Abdurrahman, go ahead, please.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Elvis Elemehele.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. The problem we have here, if we must be sincere with each other, we have an Igbo man who is vast about the history of Igbo people. This is not the time to keep quiet. Quietness at times can lead to many things.
Okay.
They should come out and speak out. They will come out. They will now contribute. Is people from Ikwere, are they Igbo or they are not?
Under the carpet, that many of those river states or the leader of river states, as Amechi says, it was that Chike Amechi's Igbo name. And what Amechi said once at the time when he was saying that Nigeria youth are lazy because why we cannot go out to do protests. What he said is that he queries that Port Harcourt are betrayer. They are going to be betraying their brothers. And this is what is happening today because the Ikwere are betraying the Igbos, call them brothers. Exactly what happened in the scripture, where Judas betrayed his master, Jesus. So this is the problem. Ikwere is the origin of Igbo. So where I was living, my father, when he left the east from Imo State, he carried all his family member and land to Ikwere, Port Harcourt. Port Harcourt have Ogoni. They have Ijo. So if you watch out, even Ichi are under Igbo. They are close to Imo State. So Ikwere are Igbo. So the only problem is that the leaders, they have something they are benefiting. Why they don't want to open up. So that is it.
All right, thank you.
Understand?
Thank you,
So,
Evangelist. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. 08036929933. 08036929933. Hello, good evening. Welcome.
Hello, Esther.
Yes, hello, sir. Good evening.
Esther, I got to call you again. My name is Big Ibekwe.
All right. Oh, Mr. Biga, Happy New Year to you.
The same to you, Esther.
Long time.
Because before the Civil War,
They were
the
Igbos.
Ikweres were strongly claiming Igbos.
In fact,
They
from
were
there to
interacting with-
Onisha, they
there
were
was no
Igbos.
agitation were not Igbos. It all started after the Civil War. But like I've told you, Ikwere began from people who were supposed to have been shipped to America for slavery.
Okay.
But because it's mainly from Nnewi.
Mr. Biga,
very much,
wait, Mr.
Esther.
Biga, wait, don't go. He rights and stripped him of his traditional titles, his honor and all whatnot that he committed traditional titles, his honor and all whatnot that he
So what
committed
is the
sacrilege.
number? Esther, go and find out the number of persons that actually effected this, the removal of this. You see, in every political situation,
They call themselves Obako Ikwere Culture Organization Worldwide. They're an apex decision-making body of the Ikwere ethnic nationality in Rivers State. They
Good.
announced the withdrawal of all honors, recognitions, and titles previously bestowed on Senator Azuta-mbata, the newly elected President General of Ohaneze in Igbo.
good. You see, let's watch it. It is an unfolding story that it eventually you will call me or I will call you. I will tell you, Esther, what's the situation. So let's just watch it. It is still the same agitation, protectionism, that they are not Igbos, so that the fate of the Igbos in Nigeria will not be visited on them. That is basically what it is.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr.
Thank you
Biga.
very
Thank
much,
you.
Esther.
This is beautiful. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
educating us.
Yes.
All right. Hello. Good evening. Welcome to the Evening Rush. How are you?
Good evening, Esther Machuku.
Yes. Good evening, Zara Nadi. How are you?
Okay, I'm fine, my dear. How and you?
Yes. Please go
How are
ahead,
you? Okay. Well, Esther Machuku,
sir.
on a query this thing, I believe Mr. Darlington would have been the this thing. Although this man, I always appreciate him, but
Mr.
he have
Biga.
maybe all this concerning Elvis, concerning all this tribe
Okay.
of thing, he will not understand.
Yeah.
So that is why people are trying to. I'm reading the message. I've seen the message. People condemn him, but they should not condemn him
Yeah.
because the man is not this thing.
He actually
Esther
explained it.
Machuku, Nigeria is a-
He said so too.
Well, Nigeria, if I will go deeper, because I was born and brought up in Port Harcourt,
Okay.
I know what I've been. And then, may their souls rest in peace. My friends were old men. But when I left Nigeria, I heard that most of them have died there because I used to get an idea from them. They told me how a family in Ikwere, this man from Nnewi. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, this man is from Nnewi, and that man happened to be the only son of the family, and because of the family has a lot of land, they frame him up and send him to just for him to send him to slave for them to take him to America. At the end of it, they ended the slave. The man just at the end of the man ended in Port Harcourt, and this is with equal they call it equal then. Then the man, after the man, when the man was dying, he called the family. He said they should not associate, have anything to do with Igbo. For the brother to just sell him out. That is why this thing. I know this thing, but I try to remember the family. They told me then. But that's what you go. Nigeria is they confuse people. Because I don't see some news. Some people will just say, Asian is not a Bini. Asian, Bini is not Asian. This Yoruba is Bini. The Bini is this Dudua. The Yoruba Bini will tell them that they have started existing before Dudua. Then they said on the chest Bini. All these things. They said this. The whole Igbo land in this Igbo people in the Delta. They say they are not Igbo. They are Bini. I said, ask one day, is Bini from the sky? Where did Bini come from? Can you hear me?
I'm listening to you, Zaranadi.
That is the story of Nigeria, So I try to understand. Let people go to history and call people that knows about this thing. Maybe come from somebody from that tribe. Let the person tell them more. They should not stop confusing every time. The Ikwere is a complete Igbo. These are people that they're supposed to stay to sleep then.
All right.
But at the end of it, when they ended it, all of them remain there.
All right. Thank you, Renadi. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Remember, we have other hot topics, okay? All of you are just choosing on speaking on the query, whatever. We have other topics. You want me to remind you? Hello, good evening. How are you?
Hello?
I can hear you. Good evening.
Hello, how are you, sir?
I am fine, sir. Good evening. What's your name?
Maybe you are not listening to me, but I can talk.
Okay, so, go ahead.
When we separate, we do this geopolitical equation.
Hello? Oh, sorry. All right, let me take some messages, okay? I have quite a lot. I have tons of messages here. So let me take them as fast as possible. God help me. All right, God help me with these messages. Good evening, Esther. The issue we're talking about is bigger than the analyst. Ekwere actually is not a distinct Nigerian language. It's a dialect of a language deployed to balkanize a people some Nigerians see as strong. The reason why Umokoro changed to Rumokoro, etc. Why are 3 known Ekwere men contesting the position of the ethnic group they don't belong to? Good night, Okosisi from Surulere. Well done. All right. Good evening, Esther. Why is Elvis talking with annoyance as if he's an... Let me tell you, he's recognized by this administration. Civil war divided us so much. Nigeria and British brought all about this. Churchill from Surulere. All right, Churchill, thank you. Good evening, Esther. Why was River State created out of former Eastern Nigeria? Is it not to reduce the power of the Igbo? Those people have told you that they are not Igbo, so Igbo should leave them alone. I was born in Mount 3 Jobu, Port Harcourt. The Ikwere people have told me that they are not Igbo, so let it be. Charles Williams from Festac. No be me, oh. You say let it be. I no hold you now for throat, but there is just an identity situation. Some people say Ekwere is Igbo, some people say Ekwere is not. We've had Mr. Biga give us a broader explanation as to what happened, but again, it's concerning the community members of Ohaneze Indibo's new president. Ekwere people that are agitating and emancipated from Igbo tribe because Ohaneze Indibo President General Worldwide was given to Azuta-mbata has resorted of excommunicate. Okay. When you send messages, please write legibly so I can understand what you want to say. Esther and Elvis, good evening. Don't worry, what you are hearing from Ekwere in River State is politically motivated. You will still hear the truth about Mbata and Ekwere people. You could remember most of these politicians who are controversial in their political input should be here next week.
All right, to the point, please. Those who don't know history, they will always make mistakes.
All right.
This thing about this SND fathers, then there used to be war in those days.
Yes.
You know, how they escaped fathers, then there used to be war in those days.
Yes.
You know, how they escaped, how they ran, and how some of those people were, you know, banished in those days. And they started growing in those. So they are Igbos. Please, this is not even any case. They should know. Let them retrace their history, and it will help them enough.
All right.
Esther, I greet you.
Thank you so much, Joval. Thank you. All right. Thank you for actually calling. Okay. Wow. It's an interesting one. But remember, we had actually other conversations on the hot topic today. Esther, good evening. We're expecting Sheikh Tinubu will decide who governs us in Lagos. Please don't advertise him. Let anybody bring him. We're waiting. Sarafidin Ajao. Sarafidin. We're waiting. Sarafidin Ajao. Sarafidin. Okay, Noah.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, good evening. How are you? What's your name?
Good evening.
Good evening. I can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Hello?
All right. We don't have that. The number to call is 080-3692-9933. Hello, good evening. How are you? Hello, good evening. All right, I think that's why I've been taking the WhatsApp messages. The seed that is the oligarchy, the Fulanis perpetually created for their convenient and manipulative purposes to entrench their devilish agenda is germinating and festering. I'm sorry that those people are here to learn their lessons even after the obvious signs that they are just instruments of manipulations and division. Very sorry. I'm sorry. Eugene Mary Ishari. All right, well done, Eugene Mary. Okay, we live in a country where there is glaring lack of reliable data on its citizens. Furthermore, government officials exhibit a reckless disregard for fiscal responsibility, prioritizing their own interest over the welfare of the people. Sadly, they often neglect their basic duties and responsibilities. I can't read this. FG is using divide and rule tactics on Igbos. It's behind the identity denial of Ikwere people for political reasons. They want to continuously divide the Igbos and their brothers in other states, including Rivers, for their political interest. Okun from Ikeja. All right. Esther read the messages. Esther, read the messages I'm pointing out at, because the man went on another platform to say something else. What man, please? Okay. You're okay. Fine. You're referring to Peter. Okay. Good evening. Of the Ohaneze before that is not happening. So exactly, Peter Osifo, where did you get your information? Don't eat rats, but you share it to children with your teeth. Most of their names and places is Igbo sound and meaning. Take it or leave it. Ikwere Bundibu, period. Good evening, Esther. Okay. King Jaja of Opobo is from Imo State. Good evening, Esther Machuku. This is Jude from Ajao Estate. If the Ikwere people say they're not Igbos, what are they? They should let Nigeria know. Good evening, Esther. Concerning Sheyi Tinubu becoming the governor of Lagos State, let's look at it this angle. What are Sheyi's experiences? Has he held any political office before those? Those are the questions we need to ask ourselves before he can say he's coming out for governor. Prince Joe from Ishari Oshun. Good evening, Esther. Solomon Asika from Mushi. We need to get those former military heads of states whom are still alive now to explain to Nigerians most of the histories of this nation. People like Yakubu Gowon, Olusegun Obasanjo, Muhammadu Buhari, because it was after the war they started bringing different strategies in order to destroy most of the identities of the Igbos, like adding the letter R every word in Ikwere language, which creates south, south, and southeast, but they have north central. Why not create also east central? Bonsoir, Esther Wachko and gentlemen, please. The only security accepted in Igbo's southeast is the okay. I think I've read this message. Okay. All right. Someone else has mentioned what I was pointing out in my message. The social media jungist whose comment is irreverent about showing his support for that guy. Well, it's left for his followers and others who take that character seriously to cry or rejoice over his gibberish, and the media should stop talking about that guy, helping him to amplify his campaign. As for the Ikwere people, if they say they don't want to identify as Igbo, then they should be left alone. Names sometimes can tell your roots, but identifying yourself to be part of that group is another matter. If the new Ohaneze President General has been banned out of where he's from, well, they should find a house for him somewhere in the southeast so he's not stranded. I wouldn't be surprised if someone calls and says Wike's hand is in the matter, because everything is politics in Nigeria. Evening, Esther. With Obi, you can see difference between leaders and rulers, dictator, brilliant minds, and low-grade minds.
They may go back and reclaim that thing again, that abandoned property. That be just their fear.
All right, thank you.
As I likely said, those of against Igbo should denounce their name and answer that if they choose to be Fulani, let them choose Fulani. We are not bothered. They are Igbos. Thank you, Esther. God bless you.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, we've come to a wrap on the evening rush today, and thank you so much for all of you who called and sent your messages. We thank you and appreciate your consistency. Please, most of you who are calling Mr. Elvis names, he already told you full compact details of the whole Ikwere identity. Mr. Biga Ibekwe, thank you so much for educating us, and a couple of you who have called to educate us, taking us back in time, giving us a proper history. But a couple of people feel that if the Ikwere don't want to identify as Igbos, nobody should force them to. Well, nobody is forcing them. It's just that the present Ohaneze President General, well, there's already a controversy arising. His community members are saying he has committed sacrilege. They've written a letter, but like Mr. Ibekwe said, let's see the recent developments. Let's see how things turn up. Tomorrow there could be a development between whatever it is that is happening. But it's important for us to understand where our identity, where we come from and what our identity is. I know that the Civil War caused a lot of psychological damage, specifically to those in the Southeast and the South now. It caused a lot of psychological damage. I understand that coping mechanisms were employed to save their generation and save their, children yet unborn. But as time goes on, let's see how things progresses. My name is Esther Umachuku. All right. Follow us across all social media handles at VOP903FM. Good evening, and hopefully next week Precious will definitely come and take over her program. You guys have yourself an amazing